reading for today. Today, I really actually wanted to dive into depression. It was something that I battled for over 20 years of my life, and it was difficult. So, drew some cards on that to be an encouragement if you are battling depression, if you're battling anything like that, that there is hope. There is hope, always. And so, our first card here is actually death. And it says, I am learning that endings are merely beginnings. And this is so true. And I know that at the depth of my depression, I never thought I could get out of it. I never thought that it would be anything other than death would really get me out of. You know, I didn't think that there was any hope. I didn't think that I would ever not know what it was like to not be depressed, to not feel so low that I wasn't deserving of life. And that is an awful feeling. It is an awful feeling to live with. And so here, this is really saying, know that there are always endings and beginnings, and that depression can have its end, that you can have a new beginning. This is where there's hope. You know, everything is always changing. Everything is always evolving. Sometimes we have to really work that change, but it changes. And it can go, and it can, get to a space where it's not suffocating you or holding you in those depths, in those rabbit holes. And so the next card here is friendship. And it says, I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. But here, there's kind of two sides to this. One, we need to learn how to be friends with ourselves. I know that, my depression definitely isn't the same as everyone's. We are all unique in everything that we experience. But I really did not know how to be my own friend. I did not know how to love and care about myself because I didn't think that I was deserving. I didn't feel that I was worthy. And so even in my external friendships, there was always almost a sense of lack in a way, because I could not, when you can't show up for yourself, you can't really show up in relationship either. And so the first side of this is learn to be your own friend. You're worth it. You are worthy of that care and that love that you can give yourself. And the other side of this is know that there are people out there. There are people who care about you. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but reach out to a friend when you need to. Reach out and just say, hey, I need a little encouragement today. I'm having some trouble, and don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of being weak or anything like that, because those are just those things trying to keep us away, trying to keep us out of the realms that we're going to find help, that we're going to have that. So be your own friend and reach out to friends. When they're really good friends, they're not going to judge you. They're not going to judge anything that you're going through. They're going to care about you, and they're going to help however they can. And so the last one is service. And it says, I feel good when I can help others. Now what this brought up for me initially was that in my depression, one of the things that I did, I guess, in a way to try to escape was to be in service. Help others, do everything I possibly could for everyone else. But I wasn't giving to myself. And so when it comes to service, we can feel good about giving to others, when we're stuck in that hole, if you will. But we really have to be able to give to ourselves first. You can't drink from an empty cup, and so we have to fill our own cup. We have to be able to give to ourselves. We have to be able to be in service to ourselves. We need to be that friend to ourselves, and allow friendships in our life. And we also need to understand that death is just part of life, that things do die, things do come about, are birthed. There are endings and beginnings. And so knowing that there can be an ending, that you can have a new beginning, that's the first step. Believe it. And that next one is committing to yourself to say, hey, I am worthy of my own love. I am worthy of my own service. I am worthy of being taken care of. And finding those things that help you to kind of come out of those rabbit holes, out of those spinning wheels. So I like to say throw a fork in it, because I see depression as this spinning wheel that doesn't ever stop, that carries you down in those rabbit holes and just keeps going and going and going and going and going. And so I joke and say throw a fork in it, get a fork in those spokes to stop the wheel. And so finding those things that will kind of stop those patterns, those thoughts that are going and going and going in your mind, and then replacing it. This is, you have to think of it from a neurological perspective too. We are going from one thing to another, and so we have to retrain our minds. And so when you are trying to come out of depression, throw a fork in those thought patterns, those spinning wheels, and then have something to kind of help you shift out of it. Even if it's just an affirmation, I'm worthy. I don't have to think like this. Anything is possible. Whatever it is for you, find those words that will help you shift, to help you kind of come out of that. And that will help bring you into that new beginning. So, not an easy process to come out of depression. It did take me a few years of very consistent work every day. But where I'm at now and where I was then is night and day. Whereas back then I was, ready to take my own life. Now I'm excited for tomorrow, because I know that there's so much life ahead of me, and there's so much out there, and there's so much for me to experience, and I'm excited for that. And I know that it's not all going to be pretty. I know that it's not all going to be, roses and rainbows. But I know that I'm okay, because I know that I don't have to live in those old spaces anymore, that I do have the power within me to change it. So have faith in yourself, believe in yourself, know that you can do anything, know that there are always endings and beginnings, and the bad things end too. And that's an important one to remember. And cherish yourself, be your own best friend, give to yourself, because you are worthy, you deserve it, and it is a way that's going to help you in coming out of those depressed states. So, you're worth it. You're worth that new beginning. So, own it.